Hello everyone, and welcome to the SenseGlove for Unreal Engine tutorials. I am Mamadou Babai, the main SenseGlove for Unreal plugin developer at SenseGlove. In this video, we are going to see how to import a virtual hand mesh and set up an SGPON in order to use the SenseGlove virtual hand model in your project. As a prerequisite to this video, you might need to first check out the other video tutorials on how to obtain and install the SenseGlove for Unreal Engine plugin, and also how to obtain and run the SG Playground blueprints and C++ example projects. Also, other tutorials on how to set up SenseCom on Microsoft Windows and GNU Linux are available on our YouTube channels that you might like to check out prior to this video. Furthermore, there is another video available on how to deploy to Android and Oculus Quest 2 that I recommend to watch before this one, as we are not going through those details in this video again. Okay, let's get started with the virtual hand and how can we get the virtual hand mesh. Well, despite the fact that our plugin has the virtual hand functionality built in, at the moment we do not ship any default hand mesh with our plugin. But from Unreal Engine 5.1 and onwards, Epic Games ships a pair of virtual hands for free with Unreal Engine. These are male and female hand meshes available right inside Unreal Engine itself. Just before we proceed any further, you might ask, what if I need the hand meshes for older engine versions, for example, version 5 or 4.27? The answer is hopefully there is a way to export these hand meshes to older versions of the engine. And in this video, we are going to explore just that. Okay, let's just get started. First, I'm going to fire up the Epic Game Launcher, and it's on my first monitor, so I'm going to drag it here for you to see. And then I'm going to head to the library section. And here, as I said, it's just available inside Unreal Engine 5.1 and 5.2. And also, I'm going to, for this video, I'm going to use the SG Playground BP. That we already saw where to get this, how to configure it, how to run it, and how to deploy it to Android. And as you can see, I've already also set up SenseCom. In the previous videos, we've seen how to do these things, so I'm not gonna cover these in this video. Anyway, let's just get started. It doesn't matter which version of the engine you run, either 5.1 or 5.2. And after you run this project, now it's again running on my first screen. So I have to move it here for you to be able to see it. I'm going to basically create a project inside desktop, let's say, and inside tutorials here, I guess I'm going to, I have to first, because I was looking at the wrong tab, recent projects, but here you have to first create on the games and basically create a new virtual reality project. And here inside desktop tutorials, I'm going to name this the VR, and basically that's it. You just hit the create button. It's going to create a blueprint project, which is sorry, which ships the virtual hands to us, and we are going to use that. Now on my first screen is just building shaders, like 800 shaders, so it might take a bit of time, but yeah, let me show you where we can get these. Inside the tutorial folder, we created a VR test project, and if you head to the content, there is a VR template there, and inside that there is probably blueprints. No, it's not here. Yeah, inside character. Inside the characters, there's a mannequin XR, and if you go here inside the meshes, you see here we got the virtual hands for the left hand, right hand, and also the queen character is a female character and Manny is a male character, which you get if you need a hand mesh for male, you could use this one. If you need one for a female character, you could use this one. Also, there are textures and materials available for this, but I'm going to only export the skeletal mesh, and since I don't need the, I'm going to use the default hand mesh, and I probably set up a simple material to use. And also, I don't need the animations for the virtual hand to work. So now the engine is open. Let's go to the content browser. Let's go to the characters folder, mannequin, and meshes. And basically, I'm going to export. Let's first take a look at these. Well, for example, this one, you have just you have to keep in mind that you cannot just use any hand mesh because it's not going to work properly and it could be distorted. You have to use a mesh that adheres to Epic's skeletal rig, and they have some guideline on that where you can find that. Actually, if you look for Unreal FBX skeletal pipeline, you will find the documentation here, and they have just explained everything, how you should like export your character and how should you import it, all the required setting. That's a lengthy documentation, so you have to go through it. And also yeah, for the animation, for rigging, there are like extra information, but I'm not going to go through this right now. I'm just going to use the hand mesh. As you can see, it should be on this coordinate, like it's just the Z is up, X is this direction, and Y is basically looking at us. And this has been nicely set up. Also, there's one more important thing is like there are some bones on this skeleton that they should exist. If not, the plugin is and consequently your game or project that relies on the plugin is going to crash. What are those bones? Like, for example, if you don't have this one, this is for the right hand. And as you can see, these are now in white that shows this skeletal mesh have these bones, but these are for the left hand. As you can see, they have a postfix underline L, and these ones have one underline R. Anyway, some of these are important. Where you can find which one is important and which one is not, if you go to the basically Azure repository here. This is the landing page for SenseGlove Unreal Engine plugin on Epic's marketplace. If you click on this change log, you will go to the plugins source on Azure repositories. And here, if you go to the source directory, if you go to the SenseGlove directory, and if you go to private SenseGlove, and inside animation, I guess it should be here inside the virtual hand anim instance proxy. It's either here or no, it's not here. Should be probably in the in the components folder. There is like the SG virtual hand component, and yes, it's here. As you can see, these are the bone names that are important, like sum 01 underline L, 2, 3, and also index, middle, ring, and pinky. And for the right hand, it's just the same thing, only the prefix is different. For the left hand is underline L, and for right, it's underline R. So as you can see, this is the standard Epic rig. We adhere to that, and we are looking for this bone. So if they don't exist, the game is going to basically crash. So let's go back, and as you can see, these are the bones that do exist on the mesh. So anyway, let's just close this. I'm going to export all these together, all 4 meshes. I'm going to export these. I don't need the animation blueprint or this like skeleton. I'm going to just export the skeletal mesh. I'm going to asset actions. I could use the bulk export actually, instead of separately like exporting those. And here I'm going to the tutorial folder and create a new folder. I'm going to call it hand mesh. And here I'm going to select this folder. Now I see another window. I'm going to just keep all the D files, so whatever Unreal Engine suggests, and just hit export all. So now it's just, yes, it should be exported. Yes, it's done. And if I go to desktop, and if I go to tutorials, if I just go to the hand mesh folder, as you can see, just exported everything for me here. I'm going to just cut these and move them to here, and I'm going to delete this folder as I don't need this anymore. So I'm done with Unreal Engine 5.2, so I can now close this, and let's go back to our project inside Unreal Engine 4, and inside the content folder, I'm going to just create a folder. Let's call it hand mesh. And then I'm going to basically import asset, import to game/hand mesh. And again, I go to desktop, tutorials, hand mesh, and I'm going to select all these together. And once I do that, I'm going to see this. All these options have been like explained inside the documentation here, and you can just go check it. But I recommend not changing anything default and just keep everything as it is, and just import. Now, once we have imported that, it just creates everything else. Like we just created the skeletal mesh, it just created the physics asset, it just created the materials and everything. Now I can just hit save all. Also, I don't like the white material. I could just simply open the material for the hand I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Mani hand. So I'm just going to open the material editor, and here for the base color, I could just basically use any solid color like this one, and it should be good. You can also play with other things, like if you want to make this metallic, for example, material, you could here you could increase the value, for example, to 1. Now it looks shinier. Also, you could play with roughness or emissive color or specular or other things. But yeah, it just, for example, if I add roughness, it's, I guess, too much, so it's too shiny. Now, I guess 0.5 is just good. Now, if I go back, I can see my hand just has that material. Anyway, you could also export, import the textures, but that's a lengthy process. I'm not going to go through that in this video. And just let's start using the hand mesh. Anyway, first, let's create a blueprint class. Here we have actually a blueprint folder. So I'm going to create another one. Let's call it BP hand. And here I'm going to create a new class. I'm going to call this, I'm going to first subclass this. If you type SG, there are a few SenseGlove specific classes available with the prefix SG. The one that is the most important right now is the SG game mod base, which is a subclass of the game mod base. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to call it SG my, let's just call it BP my game mod. Okay, then there is another class that we could use in order to basically show the virtual hand. But before that, let's just check here first. Inside this game mod, basically we have to specify a player controller and a default pawn class. As you can see, by default it uses SG pawn, and by default for controller it just uses the native C++ class SG player controller. So I'm going to create those as well. Then I'm going to type, basically create another new blueprint class and type SG player controller, and I'm going to call this BP my player controller. And also another blueprint class from SG on, and I am going to call this BP my pawn. So as you can see, as soon as I add the my pawn class, it has like 2 hands, and it just like initializes the hand, and also you could even see a preview if you open it. Let's just see it. As you can see, this is the hands that I see at the moment, and one of the glove, which is basically let's is the viewport speed so you can see it. As you can see now, it just shows the current position of the glove. This one is because the right glove is not available or connected to the system. As you can see, only the left one. It shows like a preview, and it has like a few things set up, like a camera, like a wrist tracker, which we can use inside a VR headset. We can see later on what these do. But anyway, yeah, as you can see, as simple as that, we got the virtual hand once we just subclass the basically my pawn class. But you should not see the hand mesh by default because as you can see, this blue is different than the hand meshes that I just imported here. because I used like a pair of other hands. Basically, I did check out the plugin source code through our Azure repositories. On our Azure repositories, we actually have a pair of like hand meshes. If you go to the plugins and SenseGlove, and inside the content folder, it just uses these basically hand meshes by default. If I delete those and basically because we are not we don't ship this to the Unreal Engine asset store. This is just for the development purpose only. And then I'm going to delete this. And as you can see, if I just close like the engine and basically I have to delete it also here because it was the wrong project. I want to just show you, you don't see the hands by default. So the engine is loading on the other screen now. Yeah, the hands are gone. You just see them in the preview here because they were like previously here. Those hands are gone. Now, I have to open my basically BP my pawn, the pawn that we've just subclassed from SG pawn, and basically assign to it the hand meshes that we've just created. I guess I didn't save. That's why it didn't persist. But anyway, I'm going to find the color again. Then I'm going to save this. Also, let's assign a roughness to it. I go for this value and save it. Now, I guess I close the, or it's not maybe using it. Let's go for the mesh. Okay, now it's loaded. I don't know why it didn't load it, but anyway, let's just go back to the BP pawn, my pawn class, and basically I'm going to choose the hand left. Here I can choose the skeletal mesh, and this is the skeletal mesh I'm going to use for the left hand. This is the skeletal mesh I'm going to use for the right hand. And as you can see here, now I have it set up, and also I can change the material here. If I don't like this material, the other material I have, I could use the other one, and also for this hand, for example. So anyway, now we have our hands. I'm going to hit the compile button. I'm going to press save. Here also save all in order to make sure everything has been saved. Now, if I go back to my basically game mod class here, I have to first change this to basically BP my player controller that we created, and also for default pawn class I'm going to use BP my pawn, and I'm going to hit compile, save. These were these two classes that we just created. Now if I hit the play button, as you can see, I don't yet get the virtual hand. Why? Because this project is not yet using the new game mod class that we created. We have, in order to change it, we have to go to the project settings, and inside maps and mods, I have to basically use the other one. This one uses SG game mod, which is here in the blueprints folder, this one. but I'm going to use this one, BP underline my game mod. So let's go for this one. Now, if I hit the play button, as you can see, now I get the only left hand. Why? Because only the left glove is connected. And as you can see, I can even move my fingers and see the hand and the finger that are responding as I move my fingers. Anyway, what you can do if you want the virtual hand to be to always be visible, you can actually come here and inside the BP My Pawn class, there are a few options. Like for example, here, if you select inside the components panel, if you select the hand left, and if you come to the details panel, there's a SenseGlove section. It says this one is a right hand or a left hand. As you can see, when I switch it to the right hand, it's not going to track the fingers anymore. And only it's just tracks the right hand. But this one is not the right hand. So I'm going to check this as unchecked. And basically this one, as you can see, is just by default right is selected because this one is a right hand. So then the other option, it says hidden in game if glove not detected. If I uncheck this and also this one, then the hands are always visible no matter what. As you can see, they are always visible, but I'm only able to basically move the left hand because as you can see, only a left glove is connected and the right one is not connected. Anyway, I'm going to just hide the hands if they are not connected, and for this one also. And now let's hit the play button again, and as you can see, I have the virtual hand. Unfortunately, on the PC, I don't have like Oculus Quest controllers. Right now, I don't have a hand tracker, despite the fact that like there is a wrist tracker component here, wrist tracker left and wrist tracker right. I cannot move my hand freely. And of course, those fingers are rotated or moved in relative to the wrist. So since there's no wrist available, I'm only able to move my fingers and not the hand itself. So I have to deploy to Oculus Quest in order to basically be able to use the controller to move my hand freely. We can just do that, and let's basically start the casting. Okay, now I've enabled the casting. Okay, now the glove is connected, and what am I gonna do is going to just shut down SenseCom because they might fight over because also there is like a process inside the Oculus Quest application that is going to use the glove, and since I have only one glove, probably the PC and the Android device, the Oculus Quest, are going to basically fight over it, and that's why I'm going to exit this. And basically, if I hit play, I don't see any hands anymore because there's no glove connected. And also, I am going to the basically Bluetooth settings, and I am going to remove the device here. Just sure they are not going to fight over it anyway. Now, on Oculus Quest, before I run the application, I'm going to the basically settings section. And probably in the devices section and Bluetooth. As you can see, I've already paired this, but I'm going to basically hit forget. And now pair a new device. It's just going to find all the Bluetooth devices that are available. I'm going to connect to the Nova now. It's going to give me a prompt. It says, you want to pair with this code? I said, yes, pair. Now the device should be paired if, again, we go here. As you can see, oh, my screen, I guess it's not. I hope it's been recorded. But anyway, it's easy if you look up how you can just pair your device on Oculus. You could find a lot of tutorials on the internet, and they basically are going to show you how to just pair the device. I guess Oculus is not going to, yes, it's not going to cast the settings screen. That's why you were not able to see it. Anyway, now the device has been paired, the glove has been paired with the Oculus Quest. I'm going to basically deploy to the Oculus Quest. I've already covered this in another video. You could go and basically check that if you don't know how to do this. But yeah, should be deploying. First, there's a build process, then there is like a packaging process. It's just going to create an APK, then as you can see right now, and it's going to deploy it to the Android device, which is an Oculus right now, and it's just going to run it. Okay, I'm still waiting. Now it's just going to run it. Let's just go back here. Yes. Probably the build process has failed. Let's do this again. We are getting an error, and let's see what it says. That's a weird error that is probably coming from the SenseGlove module. Okay, here we see. It says it cannot find SenseGlove meshes requested by async loading. Basically the files that I did deleted from the repository. You should not be getting that. Probably I get it because I already used it somewhere. So what can I do is basically probably build a level. Okay. And also I'm going to remove all these. Maybe I am using it here. And yeah, basically the engine crashed. Now I'm going to rerun the engine. It's probably the reason it was just failing to launch. Cancel, save all, and basically going to remove this folder altogether. And now I am trying to basically deploy again. Again, it failed, probably looking, yes, for the same files. They are probably being used somewhere inside this project, so that's why I am getting that error. So what can I do is just basically for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to copy it from somewhere else. And after this, it should be fine. Okay, let's go to the plugins folder, content. I'm going to paste this. You don't have to do this, but yeah. If this is a bug, I'm going to fix that because the user does not have to provide those files, and basically you should be able to use the plugin without those default development and mission. Okay, let's run again. Now, again, it failed. It says I cannot load these. Okay, I can try one more time. Otherwise, I have to stop the video and basically debug this to see what's going wrong. But I guess this should be working this time. We are waiting the ADB bridge to initialize. Now it did. Let's the interesting thing is now I can see actually it has been deployed, and as you can see, I can see my own hand moving inside the Unreal Engine, but some weird reason just failed. Okay, now I'm going to cancel this. Okay. Again, let's deploy one more time. And I guess it was just the issue of copying those files and basically closing the engine and running it again. And now again, I'm going to deploy in order to show you how to calibrate the hand on the Android device. Basically, on the Android device, you don't have the SenseGlove application. So, but there's a quick calibration process, as you can see. Now, this is my hand. I have to make a fist with my hand and basically move all 5 fingers and just open them a few times in order for the glove to be calibrated. And as you can see, now I can use all my fingers, and yeah, basically my hand is moving. Now I'm going to grab the controller and basically move it inside the environment, and as you can see, the wrist tracking is working. So let's just get back to the engine and cancel this. So if you need to just adjust your controller, you could go back inside the or even debug it. You could go back inside the BP MyPon class, and here if you choose the wrist tracker, I'm using the left glove. Now I'm going to choose this wrist tracker. It says override plugin tracking wrist tracking settings, and also these debug settings at the moment they are not working, but yeah, because there are debug lines on the Android side is not working in the release builds. So I'm going to disable that, but also I want you to note that you could choose the Quest 2 controller, and it's going to apply the offsets to the controller. Right now, also there is a known bug, known issue here. This is going to be fixed in the next release, but yeah, just for you to be able to apply the Quest 2 controller offset. And if you want to basically show the Oculus Quest controller, you could just here type display, and if you check this, it's going to basically display the controller mesh inside your game along with the hand. But the other one was only for applying the right offset to your hand. As I said, at the moment for Quest 2, this one is a bit off, like there's a bit of calculation error there, but this is going to be fixed. But anyway, let's one more time deploy to the Quest. Now, actually we have it. And if I just grab the left controller, and as you can see, when I move it, wherever I move it, it's just like the hand is going to be moved with it. And I can still basically use my fingers, and also the wrist is being tracked. So this is how you basically import the hand mesh, and also the way that you are going to set up the game mod, and also SG player controller and SG on. But there is also another way. I'm going to show this one on PC. There is also another way. Probably I have to again pair my glove. Pair it. Okay, now the glove is paired. I'm going to SenseGlove. Now I'm going to calibrate the glove. Okay, now the glove is connected. And as I was saying, there is another way that you could just use the hand mesh freely, basically use it as an actor and attach it to whatever object you have inside the game. You only have to create a new blueprint class and just type here SG virtual hand actor. Also, there is a SG virtual hand component, but that's a component. You can use it inside actor. You cannot use it directly inside the scene. But this one is a virtual hand actor. Basically, both virtual hand actor and SG pawn, both of them use this underlying virtual hand component to render the hand and use the hand functionality. But anyway, I'm going to just use this one. And as you can see, also this one uses the default hand that I provided using the development hands. But anyway, I'm going to, as you can see, it has a wrist tracker, it has a virtual hand. I'm going to again use this one from Manny. And basically, this one is the left hand, so that's why I'm going to use the left hand mesh. Also, as you can see, this one, it says it's a right hand or it's a left hand. I'm going to use the left because, as you can see here, I'm connected with the left glove. Then after I have this, I could also check or uncheck, as you can see inside the on class, check or uncheck the hidden in-game if glove is not detected. And now basically, yeah, once I have it, now I can go back and basically place this inside the game wherever I want. And let's use the B70 and also rotate this a bit. Maybe bring this a bit closer, 50. Okay, save this. There's one or more blueprints unresolved compiler. You want to play in editor. Check the blueprints. Okay. Here we have a build issue inside the. Okay, that's probably I did delete something from the scene. Let's just delete this. Or I could simply remove this out since I don't use that example anymore and just save it. Okay. I guess I brought this too close. One and probably 60 because I brought this too close, so the collision with the player start was causing it to just the player start drop away. As you can see, this is the virtual hand. I'm moving my hand on PC and I could basically use the virtual hand and yeah, as an actor inside the game, and if I come here and select this, as you can see, this is called new blueprint, and this is of basically type SG virtual hand actor. This is another way to use the virtual. So that's all, and I hope you've enjoyed this video.